Hello guys, and welcome back, or welcome here if you are new. My name is Amy. So in today's video we are talking all about summer books. I have had such a great summer and I've really read some good books, and so I had to come on here and share those with you guys. Now before we get started, just a couple of things. Number one, I just want to say thank you to everyone who took the time to respond to my question in my last video. You guys, everyone who shows up for my videos, whether you comment or not, I really appreciate it so much. And the fact that you took time to respond to me, it just makes me feel like we're actually like friends. So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate that. I do want to ask another question, if that's okay, just before we get started with today's video. And I just want to ask this, out of respect for everyone. Now, obviously, I know this is my channel, and some people would say, well, do what you want, it's your channel. Yes, this is my channel, but you know what? This is like a community. It's not all about me, believe it or not. So my question is, I want to somehow incorporate my going back to school journey, my journey to become an art teacher. I want to do this not only for anyone out there who may be wanting to do this and thinking they're too old. I actually had someone comment on my video who said they were thinking about going back to school, but they didn't know if they were too old, and they were like 36. And I'm like, listen, I'm 39, so no, you're not too old. But not only for that, but for myself. I want to have something to go back to when this is all said and done and just say, wow, this is what I did then and here I am now. And so, I don't know, I just want something to look back on myself, and like I said, also share it in case there's anyone out there looking for some type of support in that area. So, with all that being said, if you guys would be okay with me posting those videos, just let me know down in the comments. Basically, I just want to know your feelings about it. I know that going back to school and booktube is two different things, but I don't want to start a brand new channel just to film a few videos every now and then regarding school. So if that's something that you're interested in, or that you would be interested in, go ahead and let me know. Of course, I want you guys to be a part of not just my booktube, but my everyday life as much as possible. So obviously I want you here, but if that's something that you're just not into, I totally understand that. That was very lengthy. You guys, I'm a chatterbox. I really am. I don't mean to be, but I am. So I have a stack of 7 books, but I'm going to just start back from like the beginning of summer and just briefly go over all the books that I've been reading. So the first book that I read going into the summer season was Beach Haven by T.I. Lowe, and I actually did a video on this, and it was like a reading vlog. And to be honest, I think because I did it as a reading vlog, I didn't get as much out of it as if I was just reading for myself. And so I think that may have kind of tainted some of my opinions on this book. As I go back and watch that video, I'm even thinking I might want to just hide the video because I don't think I really gave it a fair shot. I was interrupted because I stopped to film before I could really process like reading the whole book, if that makes any sense. But I will say, after I had time to think about it and digest it, this really is a good book. Now, there was some things in it that kind of bothered me. So the main characters are Opal and Lincoln. So Opal is like a free spirit. She's like, boho. She repurposes old furniture. And Lincoln, and she's very upbeat, very positive. She just has a really nice personality. And then you have Lincoln, and he is like the polar opposite. He is so grumpy. He's just too much. But as you get to know him, he does kind of grow on you. But the one thing is, I just did not like his attitude. Like, she would go above and beyond to be super nice, and he would just be flat out rude. And it was like, I could feel her like discomfort about it and reading it. And I'm like, dude, like, pull yourself together. Like, we've all been through hard things. Yes, what he went through was extremely hard. And so, of course, a lot of us cannot relate to his situation. And as you learn more about him, you know where all that is stemming from. And so you want to give him a pass. But, I just think if someone is going out of their way to be nice to you, you should at least return it some way, even if it's just something really small. But that was kind of hard to read, like his grumpiness. But other than that, he, like I said, he does grow on you. And there's a lot more to this story. There's 3 friends who grew up together on this island. What are they called? They're called the they're called something. The Pearls, I don't know. I can't remember. What are they known as? But anyways, and so this series is actually the Carolina coast. So it's going to follow all three friends. So the first one is Opal. So basically a hurricane comes, destroys her store. Lincoln is here. He was in the military. He's come back. He's injured. He's looking for a fresh start somewhere. He had some family issues. He has a friend in this town, Sunset Cove, who tries to get him a job at her shop because she needs help with the heavy lifting. And that's kind of how their relationship starts. And through the book, there's just healing, there's reconciliation. You know, there's some sweet moments in this book. There is. Even though he is so hard and like grumpy, there are some sweet times. They go on this date that just sounds so fun. They're like in a Jeep and they're riding on the back roads and they stop in for some soda and peanuts, and it's just so cute. So there is a lot to this book. I did decide to go ahead and read the whole series, and I started book 2. This is Driftwood Dreams, and this is going to follow another one of the girls, and it is a Josie, and she's an artist, which I can't wait to read all about art, seeing that I am an art education major. So I'm really excited about this. And her love interest will be August Bradford, but he actually ended up going out into the world. She stayed back in Sunset Cove because some things happened, and she's been working at her family diner. So I'm excited to see how that story unfolds. I've just barely started reading it, and I've had to put it down to kind of make room for other books, but I am excited to pick this up. So after I read Beach Haven, I read Lake Season, and I know I have talked about this book a little bit on a couple of videos, and I have to tell you, I love this book. This book is just so good. I mean, it got me from the very beginning. I had tears in my eyes. I mean, it's very emotional. It's just very heartfelt. I will tell you, there are 2 stories intertwined. Now, the present day story is the overall story. But what happens is, the house they grew up in is like a historic house. And it used to be a post office back in the day. Basically, her and her siblings are turning their childhood home into an inn that they're going to run. So while they're renovating, they find an old letter that was back in the 60s. You get that story as well. And I will tell you, these stories are polar opposites. This is a very, this book I would definitely say is more for adult women. There is definitely some topics in here that are very adult. And I'm telling you, this book, it's lighthearted and funny and sweet, but it's also, there's a lot of pain. And so the endings are complete opposite, but you do see restoration on both sides. It just looks very different, but it is so good. So you have the main character in this book is Maddie. She's the middle child, and her love interest is Adam Bradford. It's so good. This is such a cute story. Adam, he's such a good guy. She's young and fun, but yet she has a lot on her shoulders. I really recommend this book, and this is the Bluebell Inn. I do want to continue the series, but I'm trying to find a book 2. This is like probably one of my favorite reads. Plus you have the setting in a small town, North Carolina. I believe it was in an inn with a lake, and just all the small town charm like you could ever want. Next, I did finish the Three Sisters Island series at Lighthouse Point. This covered Blaine. She is the 3rd daughter. She is the youngest. And this book was very good. It wrapped up this family very well. I will tell you guys that this is definitely more of like a family fiction in my opinion. I don't know. I believe it is marketed as contemporary romance, but I would definitely say this is family fiction because the romance is a small part of these books. And especially I feel like in Blaine's story, a very small part. But I did love the overall feel. Getting to include the entire family like it did and just other people in the town, I really enjoyed that. But as far as the romance, basically she would run into him a few times, this and that, and then boom, one day they're like engaged, and it's just, it happened so quickly, and there was no like really build up or anything. I don't know if you guys care about that, but it was just boom, boom, boom. But like I said, I still enjoy this series. I'm going to keep it. It's just, I don't know. The Graysons, I think they will always have a special place in my fiction heart. Next, I read Denise Hunter, Summer by the Tides. And again, this was very good. This was actually classified as women's fiction with some romance in there. Basically, you got 3 sisters. 2 of them are really at odds. One of them is kind of like the peacemaker. This is in Sea Haven, North Carolina. something happens with the grandmother. They all come rushing to her aid. It's really funny what happens. But while they're there, they end up staying there, and their secrets, they all have something that they're going through, and of course they're gonna hide it. And little by little, things start coming out. There's also a romance with the next door neighbor, which, you guys, I just love romance stories with neighbors. But it was such a good book. And the next door neighbor is Connor, and he owns, like, he works at like a dock, or no, a marina. He owns a marina and like a little restaurant on the water. It's such a good book. Perfect for summer. I will tell you, it was different than I thought it was gonna be in certain aspects with like the whole mystery thing. And so, yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Lastly, well, I do have one more book, but I'm not finished. This is the one I finished most recently, and that is another Denise Hunter book, and that is Barefoot Summer. Madison again. Maddie Madison is such a popular name. But you've got Madison McKinley, and then you got Beckett O'Reilly. I really enjoyed this book. The only thing that I would say about this book is when you're reading it, at least I felt like there was a dark cloud just hovering. I mean, and I understand why, because these two have been through some really hard things. But you just feel this dark cloud, and I mean, it was kind of tough to read at times. Like, for instance, she carried around a bag of coffee beans because she wasn't sleeping, and she had to eat coffee beans throughout the day in her little baggie, and I just felt for her. Certain parts were just hard to read because it wasn't all sunshine. I'll tell you that. Definitely a little cloudy. I'm going to continue reading this series because I have heard a lot of people say book 2 and book 4 are really good. So that definitely has me intrigued. I really enjoyed how this book wrapped up. But I will tell you, it's not just your feel-good romance. I mean, there is some heavy things going on, but there's some cute things that go on too. She enters a boating competition in honor of her twin brother. And then, you know, Beckett works on boats, and he's been in this race before. So, you know, all these things start surfacing. He helps her, but she's got to get over her fear of the water. And so some cute things happen there. But like I said, it's a great story. Just overall, for most of the book, there was like a dark cloud. But eventually, the light definitely shone through. And lastly, we have Let It Be Me by Becky Wade. And this is book 2 in the Misty River romance. And you guys, so far, I am loving it. Book 1 follows Genevieve and Natasha. They're sisters, but the main storyline revolves around Genevieve. And then in book 2, you've got Sebastian and Ben. And then book 3 will be Luke. So back in the day when they were in middle school, they went on a youth group missions trip. While they were there was an earthquake. They survived 8 days. And so they're known as like the Miracle 5. So in this story, you've got Sebastian and Ben, who are lifelong best friends. So there is a lot to their journey. A lot of things happened on Sebastian's side, and he ended up kind of being informally by Ben's family, and so they've grown up together. They're very close. He is a doctor, cardiovascular children's doctor, and then Ben is a school teacher. Leah is a school teacher as well, and I'm telling you, this book so far, I'm loving it. I really am enjoying Sebastian's character. He is just something else. He walks into a room, he owns it. I just love his confidence. And Leah, she's quirky, but she's very smart. Their banter back and forth, I'm just loving it. It's so cute. Then you have Ben. He is such a nice guy, and you can really tell that. So I don't know how all this is going to play out, but I know that when Sebastian and Leah are together, you know, you cannot deny the chemistry. It's there. And oh, it's just, I love this book so far, and I can't wait to keep reading it. So I'm excited. As far as summer books go, I think I only have one left that I did not get to yet, and this is the Irene Hannon Sea Rose Lane. So I don't know. I don't think I'll get this one in. I may have to save this for next summer. Also, I did want to read If I Run. I haven't been able to find book 2 or book 3, so I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. And I feel like I can read that series like anytime. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was fun to sit down and just chat about some books here. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope everyone is doing well. But again, thank you all so much for interacting and just being here on my channel. I really appreciate you guys so much. And until next time, take care. Bye guys.